Something really special for you. We have a guest star. Ken can't join us this week on ZDTV, so it's just me, your host, Clint. But we're going to have Evan Gertis join us and show me something interesting. Don't know what it is, so I'm very eager to hear from Evan. Let's bring Evan in. Hi,
Yeah.
Evan.
Hey,
Let's
Clint.
see what's going on.
Thank you for having me on ZDTV.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah,
A pet project that I have here that I think might be helpful for a lot of people who are trying to teach themselves something. I can share my screen. We can kind of take a look at this little application that I have here.
bring it in. Let's do it.
So,
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here we go. All right, now we can share that screen. All right, great.
this is kind of the end result of, this application here. So I can reset these. Let me go back here and actually run this, right?
Now you're gonna have to level set and tell people what we're looking at, what this is, what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. So let me go to GitHub. So one of the things that just kind of interested in is computer science education, and we see a lot of this stuff happening. Um, in the world, people are trying to learn things remotely. So I have like this little pet project that is a word match generator, and what
Mhm.
this does is it allows people to create different sets of descriptions and keys for self-study. So typically, an instructor could take something like this word match generator, and they could use it to generate uh, definitions and values. And then as they develop more and more curriculum, what this does is it generates the HTML automatically for them. And it's just a Maven application, and it stores the files in the file system. Really simple, easy to put together, just kind of a fun sort of JavaScript project. Yeah, so that's kind of the backstory. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Let me go ahead and stop sharing for a second. I'm going to go ahead and restart the application, and then we can take a look at it.
Okay. So what are we using ZD for here?
So we now have SDK for Spring Boot, right? And this whole entire project has been made with Spring Boot, and
Cool.
it'd be fun to just kind of take something like this that's simple and beautify it, right? Just kind of show that you take something easy, not super complicated.
So you've gone out to the GitHub repos. You noticed that recently we had added a Zetified Spring Boot example. Spring Boot is obviously a very easy way of creating a Java application. Very popular way of doing so. So now you have used a Zetified server. Is that what we're going to see here? And then you'll have a Zetified client as well. What will the client be?
I haven't really jumped into it that far. I just kind of want to, get in here and see what we're doing with Spring Boot and some of the advantages of doing it, right? So
Cool.
far,
Are
this
you
is
gonna
just
are you gonna go back to sharing your screen? Or are you doing it off screen on purpose?
yeah, I'm doing it off screen on purpose. Just want to make sure that I'm not sharing credentials or anything like that, right?
Usually a good idea, especially when we're
Yeah,
live.
yeah. So um, I'll let you kind of host for a bit here while I get some things arranged in that.
Oh, so I can fill time? Is that what you're telling me?
I feel like you got. I think
Fantastic.
you're a people
I'm
person, so it's
I'm
it's easy, right?
I am glad that you were so prepared, Evan. Thank you very much. Yeah, I could try to fill some time in here.
Yeah.
So not too long ago, like I said, the ZD Java or JRE SDK, we have one of our developers, Eugene Kobyakov. Shout out to Eugene. Added a nice sample for Spring Boot and how you can actually turn on a Spring Boot server and have it Zetified. I personally used it because I have also created another sample, which I'm working on deploying out into the wild here. I haven't had a chance to deploy them, but it's on my to-do list. It's actually one of my top items is to make a couple of samples, which are Zetified servers with Zetified clients. So I made one not long ago when our CEO Galil had asked for one. You can go find that at I think it's netfoundry.io/apprap, I think is the URL. So I made a video showing how to add ZD to a Go server and a Go client and how to knit those both together, and that was pretty neat. So then when Eugene made the Spring Boot app, I said, "Oh, geez, I'm going to go make this same server and use Spring Boot. So I did. And that's pretty cool. Are you ready to roll, Evan? We still need more time.
Yeah, it should be good here.
Bring your screen in when you are ready, sir.
Cool. So this is running now,
It's
and
it is teensy tiny. We're gonna need that to be a bit bigger, please. Yeah, and now I don't know if the stream is affected, but the quality of the dock is not sufficient. Let me check the old settings to make sure we're running at 1080 here. Yeah. It looks like it's chugging along trying to render the screen. So let it settle here for a moment and don't move it too much. Hopefully it'll become legible. Hmm. It is not settling. It's kind of legible. Can you shoot me a link? So this is in your GitHub repo.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah, I
true?
can
All
go
right.
and
So let me go out and let me go to that repo real quick, and I will toss the link into the stream here. GitHub.com. See, now that was visible before. I don't know if it's my bandwidth or yours. Evan Gertis.
pull
And this is what repo is it?
selected topics.
Selected topics. Come on. Oh, hey, that's what I needed. Thank you. Perfect. All right, you can continue. I will toss this in.
Cool.
Go ahead and show your screen back again and see what happens.
Okay.
All
So
right,
yeah, this is the
there we go.
yeah this is
So if people want to
this
follow along, they can follow along there.
yeah this is the file structure here. There are a couple things I tried, like running in a Docker container and a bunch of other different attempts and stuff. But I just kind of found that it was easier to just brute force it out and just make an application that kind of does something, right? So really, we just have a controller, a model, a service, and what this does is it runs just a web MVC, and then the actual files themselves are just created and then stored on the file system. So it's really easy. Um, the next steps for something like this sort of project is to automate it so that you can improve this. What it's doing is it's basically just processing the rendered HTML and then putting it out on a file system for someone to access. So if I go back here, I go to localhost. This is like the end result. And what I thought was kind of cool about working on something like this is I really am interested in helping people with accessibility. So this sort of thing will allow people to drag and drop these keywords.
TCP/IP,
And
designed and developed by Department of Defense, DoD, in 1960s and is based on standard protocols. It stands for Transmission Control Protocol Internet Protocol.
That's fun.
yeah, and you can drag
OSI model, a conceptual framework used to describe the functions of a networking system.
Yeah, so this can be used to teach yourself just about anything, right? That's kind of the goal of this project. You can just take this and what I found is as people develop an understanding for something, whether it's programming or math or any sort of field, it's really a language. And once we develop the key terms that we need to understand, then the next step is just kind of review those over and over again, chunk them, and then learn how to actually apply them. So all this does is just generates our HTML here. You can kind of see the process of actually building this out. So the first step was just making a fun little HTML GUI with some inputs, and then the next step was outputting the HTML. What does the HTML look like from the generated HTML, rather than console logging it? Because I feel like every developer at most of our time, at least from my experience, we spend a lot of time looking at what is the code actually doing from a log. So this is kind of a log for an instructor to see what the HTML is supposed to look like.
Neat.
And then when you
And
click,
so the goal of this project is to learn Ziti then, or is the goal of the project to use Ziti?
I think that, there's two sides to everything. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. You can teach yourself ZD by filling out the vocabulary here, and at the same time you can Zetify it. So, really, there's two things we can do here, right? We can keep on adding more terms and Zetify it at the same time. So
I see. Cool.
yeah.
Neat. All right. Well, is that the end of the cool demo?
That's the end of the cool demo. This is just kind of an overview of what the application looks like. And now that we have this awesome SDK, it'll be really fun to pull it in and start working with it.
All right. Well, neat. Thanks for taking us on a tour there in our impromptu ZDTV live.
Yeah.
First guest. I think it's the first guest, right? I don't think anybody else has guested on ZDTV yet. So you can always claim to be the first non-Clinton Ken guest.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well,
Cool.
thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing it off. And, we'll see you next time.
Okay, cool.
All right, man.